Hey guys, Marsinger here, bringing another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video. And so those of you who know, if you were here at the stream earlier today, I did the battlefield run through. I think that run should be up on the channel already, going through the new battlefield reset that came out on global, getting all the way through to the end, and then of course going into the barber shop to buy the medals to Easy A, Barbady and Deborah, who got their Easy A today on global go live with the battlefield reset, only to find that I actually cannot get all of the medals to Easy A, Barbady and Deborah because I do not have enough battlefield currency. Now, obviously, on the one hand, you know, depending on how much you've engaged with Battlefield, whether you do it every week, whether you've been able to complete it like from start to finish, you know, and some people not able to do that for the first couple of Battlefields as they were building up their box and all that kind of stuff. But I made this tweet just to give an example of the problem, because we started to talk about this on one of the streams the other day, where global has skipped a bunch of battlefields in order to catch up to JP in terms of content, which is both with the release of some of the battlefield LRs as well as the set of enemies. Like the set of enemies that we have on global as of today with the new battlefield reset are the same enemies that are on JP at the moment. Now JP is still a couple of battlefields ahead. They have like a couple more cycles, so like the enemy typings are different, but they have the same set of enemies currently available on JP. So we've kind of caught up, you know, we're only a couple behind. I'm not sure how many copies of Frieza and Cell are available on JP. Someone can let me know in the comments. We have the second one has been added for global, which means that you're able to have them with one dupe. I think there's one extra copy available on JP, maybe two. But yeah, the rewards and everything basically are synced up at this point, just a little bit behind for global. Now the problem is, as you can see here, I mentioned, you know, some people haven't been able to do every battlefield, some people haven't been able to complete them all even when they were doing them from the very first one. But as you can see here, I have put in this tweet, tag Dokkan Global, not that they will respond because they never do for these kind of things, but we know that sometimes they see things going on in the community, so I kind of hope that somebody does see this and maybe more people start vocalizing it, maybe like, you know, retweet this or whatnot. I don't know whether they will do anything, I have no idea. But I have played every single Battlefield since it came out. Battlefield came out when I was already making content. I'm fairly sure anyway. And I have not, I mean, some of them were difficult, especially at the start when we didn't really know what we were doing. You might have had to have multiple attempts, which, I mean, you do get infinite, right, to clear it all the way through. I have done every single Battlefield since the first one. So in terms of the amount of Battlefield memories that you could actually get, I have close to what is probably the maximum amount. Now, obviously, there was a thing for the 2nd anniversary where there was a Gohan banner. I should probably bring that banner up on a separate window when we go over to the wiki, but where you could get Battlefield medals for summoning, which are the ones that you would later be able to use to awaken the LR Ginyu Force. So obviously if you'd done a bunch of medals on the 2nd anniversary banner and got a bunch of those medals, you then wouldn't have had to buy as many from the Battlefield shop. You didn't actually get Battlefield points, which I think some people seem to think was the case, but you got some of these medals, which then means you wouldn't have necessarily had to buy them from the Battlefield shop, so then you'd have more Battlefield memories left over. But for me, I got mega shafted on the Super Saiyan 4's banners in the 2nd anniversary, so I didn't do a lot of summons on that Gohan banner. It wasn't a great banner anyway, like didn't have good rates. I think I only know like one person at the time that actually pulled that Super Saiyan 2 in Gohan. So yeah, I have got as much Battlefield currency basically as you can get without having wailed out on that banner. And as I mentioned in this tweet, I haven't just randomly bought all of the junk from the Battlefield shop, and that's why I can't afford to buy these medals. I think I've bought one of the cards, which I was talking about on stream earlier, the AGL Android 18. They added that AGL 18 in the Int Krillin at some point. And I got the AGL 18 back when we were trying to do the Android's no item run for Extreme Super Battle Road. and that stage was incredibly difficult before the tech androids came out. So I was trying every single option available, really, just to see whether I could actually get the stage beaten before those guys released. And so she was one of the units that I tried out. Didn't even end up using her in the actual final run, so unfortunately it was a waste of time. And what makes things worse is that we actually looked in the shop and calculated by how much the medals cost and how much the copies of that Android 18 cost, that if I hadn't bought those copies of her, I would be able to buy these last few medals that I need for Barbary and Deborah. I still wouldn't have enough to buy the extra copy of Freezer and Cell, but I would have at least been able to buy those memories. So that's me in the situation where I only bought one extra random thing out of the shop. So if you're somebody that, you know, you bought the copies of like the STR Super Saiyan 2 Goku or the physical Majin Vegeta, like you will absolutely not be able to get all of the LR's Easy Aid and stuff. Now, obviously, when it comes to the general players, I know a lot of people don't bother with the Battlefield LRs at all, or they don't bother easy-Aing all of them or anything like that. But of course, as a content creator, like I've been getting these characters as they come out. But as I say, on the flip side of that, I've been doing all the battlefields and doing all the battlefield missions. So it's not like I haven't been trying to get like as much currency as possible, right? So if we take a look at the wiki, this is the list. The Battlefield LRs keep costing more every time they come out, but they haven't really adjusted the amount of currency that you get each time. So you can see from the screenshot, I don't have enough medals to buy one more of the EZA medals, and they cost the same for all of the LRs. The wiki hasn't been updated to have the Barbary and Deborah ones in here, but they all cost 15,000, and I still need to buy 16 of those medals in order to get the EZA for Barbary and Deborah. So 16 times 15,000 means that I need to have 240,000 battlefield memories, and you get around 200,000-ish, maybe more. Maybe it might be, you might actually be able to get 240,000 from one battlefield clear, but that's from a full reset. So what that means is I now won't be able to EZA Barbary and Deborah until the next reset for Battlefield, which won't be until next month, and potentially won't be until we get like the anniversary special Battlefield. And if you take a look at all the things that are available from the shop, like we've got all of these LRs. Obviously so far I have been buying all the LRs, right? So I have all the LRs rainbowed that have been released so far, apart from Freezer and Cell, right? Because now there's an extra copy of them. 470,000. That means you have to do 2 full Battlefield clears just to be able to buy one copy of this card. And we did the 55% showcase for them when they come out, and they suck. So the currency, how much things cost compared to how much you get is just completely out of whack and very, very strange. And the main problem is that Global has skipped a bunch of battlefields trying to catch up to JP, and they obviously haven't factored this into the equation, right? Because here's that Krillin, the 18, the Goku, and the Vegeta. The Krillin and the 18 cost 70,000. So by buying those 5 copies of Android 18 to rainbow her, that was 70,000 battlefield memories 5 times. That's 350,000. That's over one full battlefield reset clear to buy those 5 copies. And obviously if I hadn't done that, I'd have 350,000 extra battlefield memories. I would be able to buy these last medals to EZA, Barbary and Deborah. But funnily enough, still wouldn't have enough left to buy that other copy of the Battlefield LRs. And I think that's where the issue becomes fully apparent, is like, there should be enough currency available for you to buy everything from the shop. But even if we put aside like these TURs, I've never spent any of them on like random items or I think I did buy the stamina upgrades, to be fair, but I mean that's probably a thing that is worth picking up. In fact, let me double check if I did even get those. I think I may have done, which again you could argue shouldn't have got those, but the Battlefield shop, like, you should be able to get everything realistically if you do it enough. Because not everyone wants to play Battlefield every week, not everybody wants to do all the reset and stuff, which is fine. But then if I was in that situation, I wouldn't complain, right, that I couldn't buy all the stuff. So I did get the stamina upgrades, and it looks like I did get the box space as well. So all of those, like each stamina upgrade would have got me another medal, which is not quite enough, but the box space on top. If I hadn't bought any of the box space or stamina, I would have been able to buy the last few medals as well. Never bought any of these random starter URs, never bothered to buy any medals or orb packs or anything like that. And this is what I mean. If you've done every single battlefield, realistically, you should be able to buy everything. The TURs, the stamina, some medals and stuff like that, and all of the LRs. But the LRs realistically are the main sort of prize, because I mean, these guys have never gotten TUR Awakenings or Easy A's. I think these guys have TUR Awakenings, the Krillin and 18. But Vegeta and Goku, they don't have, they do have TURs, I think. They don't have Easy A's. So these guys are all super old and super outdated. But the LRs, they are giving them Easy A's and then adding their medals into the shop for you to buy. But they're not giving us enough currency in order to be able to get all of them, which I think is a huge problem. And a lot of this is to do with them trying to catch up to JP, because again, let me know how many copies of Frieza and Cell are actually available on JP. I think it might only be one extra copy that Global doesn't have, but that's still, if they're 470,000 Battlefield memories to get one copy, then obviously to get the extra 2 that are on JP, that's almost 1 million Battlefield points, which means we'd basically have to have 5 extra Battlefields in order to get those 2 copies. And if we look at JP, JP didn't actually even get, if we look at the list of battlefields on the wiki, I think they've obviously gone past this now because the wiki sadly has stopped being updated. Someone can let me know what the latest one on JP is, but Frieza and Cell didn't get added as a reward on JP until the 70th battlefield. So that means if they've had a couple added since then they must be on at least the 72nd battlefield, because I can't remember if they do add one every single time. But the one that came out on Global today is the 68th battlefield, and we have one extra copy. So let's say they do add one every single time. That means we are at where JP would have been on the 71st battlefield, because one extra copy of Frieza and Cell is now available, which means we're at the same point that JP is at, but 3 battlefields less overall. Which means if you are getting between 200 and 250,000 Battlefield medals per clear, that means Global is anywhere from 600 to 750,000 Battlefield medals behind JP. Which, funnily enough, that exact number you would be able to get if you were in my position. I would be able to get all of those medals to Easy A, Barbary and Deborah, and I would be able to get that extra copy of Frieza and Cell. And when the next Battlefield reset comes out, and they added another copy, I would have just enough medals to get that extra copy. So if we'd had the same number of battlefields as JP, we actually would have enough currency to have at least gotten all the LRs and their Easy A medals. Obviously, like I said, if you've then gone ahead and bought, like, you know, Majin, Vegeta and Goku, then you're way behind and basically at this point can never catch up because of the way they've planned this. This is something I said, again, I mentioned it earlier in the video. We said this on a recent stream. With Global been skipping a battlefield here and there, like a few times in the schedule, the big question is, and I haven't really seen anyone talking about it in great detail, but we brought it up on stream the other day, is like, did they plan this well enough in advance to know? Because I bet when they skipped some of these battlefields, and even now they're like, right, the 68th battlefield is going to come out on Global today, we're going to have the new set of enemies, and we're going to add a second copy of Frieza and Cell. I don't think anywhere along that point in that process did anyone stop and say, well, how many battlefield medals will Global have gotten in total at this point? And is that enough to have actually gotten all the LRs and all the Easy A medals and stuff like that? And unfortunately, the answer is no, unless you didn't get anything else from the shop. Because like I say, if I hadn't bought the 18s, I'd be able to get the medals for Barbary and Deborah, but I still wouldn't be able to afford to buy the extra copy of Frieza and Cell. So even without buying those 18s, at least I'd have been able to get the Easy A done. Because obviously for me, it's super annoying because I wanted to do, instead of doing this rant video, I would have been doing an Easy A, Barbary and Deborah showcase video. But I can't, because I can't Easy A them. And I can't Easy A them now until the next battlefield. Because every Monday, we get those 3 missions that if you do them all, just for beating 3 stages in a battlefield, you get 6,000 more points. You'd have to beat that mission 3 times, or in those sets of missions. So like 3 weeks. You'd have to beat those sets of missions 3 times just to be able to buy 1 more medal. And I still need 16. So basically I can't do this Easy A until the next battlefield reset, when they'll probably add another copy of Cell and Frieza, which means there'll be 2 available in the shop, and I actually still won't be able to afford to buy even one of them. So absolutely ridiculous. I don't know if it will be. Maybe, like I say, if we make some noise, maybe they'll address it. Put it in this upcoming surveys. Anytime they do tweets where they're asking for questions or feedback, we should start bringing it up. Because if you're especially a newer player, again, this is me having done every single Battlefield. So if you're a few Battlefields behind and you decided to buy some of these other cards, or you also bought the stamina upgrades and stuff like that, you're just never going to be able to keep up with all the stuff that they release in the shop, which is absolutely ridiculous. So let me know your guys' thoughts down below in the comment section. If you are on Twitter, retweet the tweet, make noise on the global posts. I think there might be a post that's out today, if there isn't already, about the new Battlefield coming out, so I'm probably going to post my tweet under that as well. And then yeah, hopefully they'll do something. Maybe if they see the outcry for it, when we get the anniversary special Battlefield, maybe they'll add in some kind of either extra mission, or they'll just turn up the rewards for that one specifically. That would make it different from the JP one, which I know they don't usually do, but maybe they'll just gift out a bunch of them, who knows. But hopefully they do something, because we just don't have enough memories to get everything, which is honestly ridiculous. So let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. Let's make some noise. Maybe it'll get addressed, who knows, maybe not. But at the end of the day, the Battlefield LRs aren't like the best units in the game or anything, but like Barbary and Dabur are actually pretty decent for that Boo Saga team. But unfortunately for me, I'm now going to have to wait until the next Battlefield reset before I even get to use them. So anyway, that's going to be it from me. Rant video over. Let me know your thoughts down below. Let's make some noise. Hopefully there'll be a response of some kind. I'm not going to hold my breath, but we'll see. So yeah, that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Master Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out the links down below for the Discord and the merch store, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.